Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
That was quick.
Yeah, Ma, don't worry. I'm driving on the new expressway and it's absolutely safe.
Hello and welcome to the second edition of PwC Presents The Winning Leap in association with CNBC TV 18. This is a show where we take a look at how businesses create value, discuss the strategies and opportunities that are vital for their growth, and the various challenges they face in India's economic environment. We bring you industry stalwarts to discuss some of these issues and developments that impact India Inc., like how cutting-edge technology is being leveraged by all industries across the world, with the ripple effect expected in India. This week, we discuss the impact of technological interventions like big data, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and Internet of Things on accelerating the growth of commerce in India.
Cutting-edge technology is being leveraged across sectors, from healthcare, manufacturing, financial institutions, the e-commerce sector, and most industries across the world, with the ripple effect expected in India. As per the latest RBI annual report, the share of electronic transactions in total transactions in volume terms surged to 84.4% from 74.6% in the previous year. NEFT handled 1.2 billion transactions, valued at around 83 trillion rupees, up from 928 million transactions for rupees 60 trillion in the previous year. 2015 was also a great year for the Indian e-commerce sector, as it grew from $5 billion to $8 billion. India is set to see a rise in the number of e-commerce businesses that will continue to strengthen the Indian economy. Industry leaders met with us at PwC's Digital Experience Center in Bangalore to discuss accelerating digital and technology impact on commerce in India.
Joining me on the panel are Mayur Abhaya, CEO, LifeCell, and Ashutosh Chand, Partner, Digital, PwC India. Gentlemen, thank you both very much for joining in.
Thank you for having us here.
Mayur, if I can start with you, who's driving these decisions, digital decisions in your organization?
Clearly, it is the customer who is driving the decision. If you look, the category that we are in, it is for the future health of the baby. Right at the time of childbirth, the parents decide to store the baby's stem cells for the future. 70% of our traffic is coming from the digital space. So clearly, it is the customers driving this.
Do you see that across industries?
So we are seeing more and more of this across the industry, where enterprises are basically using digital as a means to reach their customers, because the customers are demanding 24/7 service and access to the services any point, anytime, any place across devices. So this is definitely a trend that the customer is driving, because digital has become a way of life.
In your case, in your business per se, is there complete alignment between the digital aspect of it and the business side of it?
Sure, because if you look at it, the customers have a journey with us, not just for the initial time of childbirth, but actually for a lifetime, because these stem cells can be preserved for a lifetime. It's very scalable and very efficient if the customers can get it at their fingertips.
Ashutosh, at what level are these decisions being made? I mean, you have a bird's eye view across industries, right?
This is being driven at the CEO level. And if you see more and more organizations, it's being driven right from the top, where the CEO is driving the agenda for business transformation, where digital is looked at in three parts. How do I drive the business change? and what are the experiences I can offer to my customers, and using technology to really implement those experiences where I can reach out to my customers to increase my revenues.
To accelerate the adoption of digital in the company, we've also created a new position called the Chief Digital Officer. We've had that position in for about a year. And that's when we also started a digital strategy program, where we could define everything across the board, all the functions. So that helps people think through deeper.
How are outcomes measured?
So clearly outcomes for us would be not just in terms of customer acquisition, but also customer service, and more importantly, the long-term customer value. And that can only come with customers being highly engaged and also being serviced well with the platform that we provide.
When you are disrupting something and you bring about a whole new strategy on the digital side along with your existing old business, I mean, are the outcomes easily measured, or is it tough?
When you're disrupting, it is in our context about launching a new service. For example, we're thinking about changing the way vaccinations are done in the country. So it's really about new approaches to doing things.
So the first challenge is that digital is still being viewed as a technology transformation, but in reality what digital is doing is a business transformation. The second challenge is there are new ways, there's innovations and disruptions happening with no clear ROI defined for so many of those things. There is a hesitancy on the part of enterprises to really adopt this at scale. So what we have done is really to help our customers create a customer experience journey map where enter end-to-end stakeholders impact is getting measured and getting redefined, and then using digital so that it is really taking a more educated way of going through a digital transformation where the impacts are much more measurable.
Except IT services companies, many of who have now started saying certain percentage of our revenues now comes from what we define as digital. But do you see that happening across industries, Ashutosh, more and more?
We are seeing it across the board actually, and it's not just a consumer facing or end user facing part of the industries, but from the supply chain, or how I interact with my vendor, how do I interact with my supplier, how do I drive my entire employee engagement and productivity to all the way to my customers. All are currently linked, and in a way they're enabling the drive towards productivity.
As you look at the industry per se, how do you see this entire adoption? Is it happening at a fast pace? Are companies being compelled to do it because, well, this is this big thing which is going to disrupt their businesses, or is it being done sensibly? What's your view?
I think if I look at the healthcare space, I mean, clearly the digital adoption has been weaker. It is only a period of time where more and more digital services will come online. I think the driver for this is really business model innovation, and what that is being driven is because of the new platform that digital is providing.
What are people really investing on as far as digital goes in your assessment?
So the people are really investing on a few things. One is business model innovation. The second is heavy investments in experiences, creating new experiences. Third is using data and creating this analytics to create personalization. So when I'm making an offering to my customer, it's personalized to the customer's specific needs rather than it's a broad offering. And then finally using the heavy investments in technology to do all of this.
Is it digital still synonymous with IT, or you think it's getting its own place now?
So it is getting its own place now, although a lot of CXOs that we talk to think digital and IT technology are one and the same, but that's changing, and we see a lot more CXO level people and customers talking about digital being a business transformation than a technology transformation.
Ashutosh, do you see companies adopting digital to solve the problem which is right in front of them, or you see them using digital in a more thought out way to build a digital enterprise for the future?
We are seeing both, and in many cases what companies are doing is as part of the digital journey is to solve the near-term problem where the pain points are taken care of, but at the same time they are also looking at longer-term ways of reinventing their business to drive growth.
I would echo that, because really it is the quick wins that you're solving now, but unless you have a long-term strategy of value capture, value creation, it's under leveraged, the technology, I would say.
If we can ask you, Ashutosh, which are the industries which are undergoing the maximum disruption because of digital?
As we started talking across the industries, we are seeing that it is happening everywhere.
Business to business facing companies as well?
Business to business as well, and business to consumer, both.
As a customer itself, one could see the way I have been purchasing products. I've been doing it very, very differently, and clearly a lot of it is on the mobile.
Is it expanding the market, or is it helping companies save on costs, increase productivity?
In the near term, it's just about increasing productivity and save on cost, but it's also expanding markets. The second is, if you look at existing enterprises, they are also using it a lot to bring in their efficiencies, employee productivity, their supply chain productivity, beyond the ERPs and CRMs, which is really...
Just give us an example, not a new age industry like a new age company like Uber, but let's take a FMCG company, for example.
Let's take a cement company, for example. You think that they are the least need for a digital transformation. In a digital world, they have a sales force, and with the way they are now tracking is who is building a house, how many bags of cement a specific homeowner needs, and the production planning is immediately getting impacted based on the number of houses being built in a specific area, number of bags getting ordered now or likely to get ordered in the next month, 2 months, 3 months. Their transportation systems are getting aligned, so end to end it is getting impacted right now as we speak.
Okay, so let's wrap this up with a quick rapid fire round to both of you, and I wanted you to say the thing which comes to your mind immediately when I say, and let's start with you, Mayur. Digital.
Sure. Opportunity.
Growth.
Innovation.
Better customer service.
Disruption.
Disruption.
Growth.
Change.
Personalization.
Opportunity to do things better.
Better customer service.
Customer experience.
Growth.
Driving business value.
Mayur, Ashutosh, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on this edition. Thanks indeed.
Thank you.
On the other side of this break, we have another very interesting discussion coming up. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You are watching PwC The Winning Leap, taking the discussion on accelerating digital and technology impact in India forward. I have with me Balaji Narayan Murthy, EVP Analytics Head with Axis Bank. Sudeepta Ghosh is Leader Data and Analytics with PwC India. Gentlemen, thank you both very much for being here. Strategic decisions, are they based on data analytics, or you think it's still mostly gut feel?
Prashant, the short answer is it is both. The way I see it, any decision is a mix of both the science part as well as the judgment part. It's only a matter of the extent.
You agree with that, Sudeepta?
Yeah, so what we did was that we also wanted to do a bit of a research on how people take decisions, and we interviewed CEOs and CXOs across the world. We got some interesting results. So what people told that 53% of the CXOs actually take decisions based on data and analytics, and the rest of 47% don't. But then we also asked them a question that is the status today. What would change in 3 to 5 years time from now? Almost 90% of the CXOs said that they would like to take decisions based on data and analytics, 90% of them using data and analytics for their strategic decisions. Timeliness of information is very important for them. That is one. Second is the ability to understand the information which is being given to you. So it's not that CEOs are not getting reports or dashboards and all that, but there is a difference between having all that report and being able to assimilate and understand that better to take the decision. That is the second point. The third point also comes in from the fact that what is the quality of information which is being given in terms of the accuracy and the speed. So that's the third aspect of it. More importantly, it is also the fact that as organizations are maturing and they are getting more competitive in the future, the ability for a human being to take a lot of decisions in a short span of time is a little limiting, and that's why most of the CXOs are saying that I may not always be able to trust my gut feel because I can go wrong. If I have an ability to look at the data and then take a decision, then I'll be more assured.
Are there challenges, Balaji, which prevent organizations from using data analytics effectively?
See, in my experience, the two main challenges I have seen are culture and talent. See, right now there are no companies that are saying that I don't want to use data analytics. Everyone has embraced it. It's just a matter of how well you practice it. When I see the companies that do well versus the companies that practices, the differentiator is culture. The other part is talent. Whether you get the right talented set of people to drive the analytics. That determines how well you're able to do it. And to some extent, culture and talent feed off of each other.
When you are talking about analytics, we are also talking about a breed of professionals who we call as data scientists. And when we talk about data scientists, they need three types of skills primarily. One is that they need to have a good understanding of the tools and the technology. The second skill is that they need to have a good understanding of the data, because you are doing data analytics. And the third important thing is for them to understand the business issues and challenges, because you are not just doing data analytics for the fun of it, you are doing it because you want to drive business benefits. And in order to have all the three skills in one person can become a bit of a challenge.
What kind of trends do you see? I mean, if you can come in, Balaji, in terms of how this will evolve, data analytics, especially in the context of financial services and banking industry.
See, looking at the banking context, one trend I see is breadth of usage. So traditionally, analytics in banks who are lenders have been used in the area of risk management, whom can I approve, whom can I decline, early warning signals and so on, and to some extent in cross-selling to existing customers. The big trend we see now is it's expanding rapidly into other functions like HR, soft functions like HR, areas like IT, how do you do predictive server maintenance, areas like HR, where can I recruit the right talent from, which campuses are giving me the right kind of profiles, areas like operations, how much cash should I leave in ATM, am I leaving more cash, less cash, how much cash should be sitting in my branch vault. All those kinds of decisions outside of risk and marketing are now getting increasingly driven by analytics, becoming truly enterprise-wide. That's number one trend I see. The second big trend that I see is it's getting very technical. It's a very technical area. So as an analytics function in a bank, one needs to know as much about the technology aspects of it as you would if you were in TCS or in Infosys, or for that matter in Google and Facebook.
What kind of trends are you seeing in terms of adoption of these programs, digital analytics, data analytics? What are you seeing?
When we are looking at adoption, the key important thing is to drive benefits. And when you are trying to drive benefits in the organization, it has to be very tangible in terms of what's the return on investment you are getting. So, for example, if there is in an oil and gas environment, if you have submersible pumps, you have sensors which are there in those pumps, and you get the data from those sensors and look at the health of that particular pump. And if you have a predictive algorithm which you can use using artificial intelligence or machine learning, which can tell you exactly when a pump is going to fail, then you can take some predictive maintenance, preventive maintenance action before the event actually happens, right? And that's where you are significantly adding to the value from a cost perspective, right? And that's when analytics gets adopted in the front line of the business. The other places where we have seen a lot of work is the process automation part of it, right? So, for example, there are many back office operations, including banking and other industries, where you do a lot of paperwork. Where analytics comes into being is to look at all the data which is coming in and then suggest improvements in the process itself. So you can find a lot of, and we call that as process mining or process analytics, where you look at the whole process, you look at all the places where the data is getting captured, and then you suggest improvements where you can take out the redundant processes which you are anyways doing, and that can give up to 60% improvement.
Balaji, and this is important, right? At the end of the day, organizations are run by people, and they have to kind of adopt all of this data analytics, etc. What kind of structures do you need to put in place to be able to embrace this and use this very effectively?
Yeah, see, in our organization, data analytics is a separate department, and I head the department. In that sense, it reports into the CFO office, so it's centrally located with respect to either a retail bank, a lending business, or a deposits business. So we work with all these businesses, but from within a different vertical. Now, in order to ensure alignment between my team and the business teams that are going to consume the analytics, I've organized the teams under the various businesses that I support. The second thing we do is try to do is even co-location. So to the extent possible, a lot of the teams are actually sitting in the same floor. The deposits team, analytics teams, is the same for the deposit business team. So
it's not as if they're sitting in another place and send a monthly report or something. I mean, it's essentially integrated.
People sitting in the same floor, walking across to each other's desks and interacting, and it creates good learning and good interaction between the two teams. The last thing I try to do to ensure the alignment is in terms of your KRAs or performance goals definition. I try to ensure that my team takes on, to the extent possible, the business goals as well. So through a combination of these tools, we try to create the alignment.
You think this would be an extremely important structure to put in place?
Absolutely. And I will just also add to it, because we are seeing a lot of millennials coming into the teams. We need to use different ways to keep them motivated. Where I've seen most organizations succeed is where they have a hub and spoke model, where you have a central team which can be a repository or a center of excellence, and then you also have those spokes which go into the individual businesses, and they effectively can champion the cause within that business for that specific function to drive change management and adoption, and that works very well in many organizations.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for a very interesting conversation. Sudipta, Balaji, appreciate you joining in. That's all we have on the show today. Join me next week for another interesting discussion on PwC Presents The Winning Leap in association with CNBC TV 18. Thank you very much for watching. Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, Ma, don't worry. I'm driving on the new expressway and it's absolutely safe.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.